Our team, so we're back, of course, talking about some more Square Enix, and recently they dropped a financial report for their fiscal year 2023 third quarter, which is the 9-month period that's April 1st of 2022 to December 31st of 2022, which, if you don't know, Square Enix's fiscal year is April 1st of any year to March 31st of the next year. So we've covered these financial reports a lot throughout the years, pretty much since like about 2019 when I kind of switched the channel over to exclusively FF7 content. I don't know what dictates the differences between financial reports or whatever, annual reports or whatever it is, but sometimes they have Yasuke Matsuda, which is obviously the like president and CEO of Square Enix, who does like Q&A sometimes. This doesn't have one of those. It's kind of a short and sweet financial report, which is pretty awesome. So there's a few talking points from this. One of them is that Square Enix actually took a bit of an L for this 9-month period. They actually seen a loss, which is many financial reports and stuff that I talked about on this channel. I can't remember if either they've never like seen a loss that I've ever seen or covered or whatever, or they might have done it like once or so that in the few years that I've been kind of looking at these that I've ever seen them like lose money. But this financial report, this 9-month period, they've seen a pretty big loss year over year compared to the previous year. So if we look at this chart right here from the previous fiscal year, if you look at the 9-month period, so that'd been April 1st to December 31st of 2021, you can see that the net sales were 273.6, and in the current one, it's 255.6. So that's an exact like 18-point difference, right? But we're talking about 18 billion yen difference, which translates to like $100 and something million loss. And I think if you actually dig into these charts, from what I've seen, their overall operating costs are down like 17.6%, and I think their net sales overall are down like 6.6%. So point is they're doing kind of bad. And there's a couple things you can factor into this. One of the major things, the most obvious things here, is there was no major releases, right? A lot of the shit that came out in 2022, like, you know, April 1st till December 31st, just no major releases, right? There wasn't a Final Fantasy 16, there wasn't a Remake Part 2, there wasn't a Kingdom Hearts 4, right? There's nothing like that, right? There's no just massive releases. Now, Forspoken did come out recently, right? But we're not factoring in like right now, like January 1st to March 31st, right? That'll be the full fiscal year for 2023 for them. Because even though Forspoken's like a controversial game, it still probably made them a lot of money. It's a very hyped, popular game that people have been waiting on for a long time. So once you factor that in, by the end of their current fiscal year, they might go positive, but I don't know. I don't know how good Forspoken did. And also like Crisis Core Union, that game was pretty hyped, came out on a lot of platforms, but I don't know how well it did overall. And if you were to go back to one of our videos from 2022, I remember talking about this, how there was no major releases coming except for maybe Forspoken for this current fiscal year. Like, there was no major releases, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how they do financially, and it seems like, at least as of right now in the 9-month period, they went negative. Another thing that factors into this is there wasn't a major expansion released for Final Fantasy XIV, which is like their biggest moneymaker right now, I think, outside of like, maybe 16 will like compare to a certain degree, I don't know, because MMOs are huge and make a lot of money. But like Endwalker came out in December of 2021, right, which is the last fiscal year, because they're obviously the current one started April 1st, 2022. And from what I'm seeing currently, there's not any plans for them to drop an expansion for 14 within 2023 as of right now. So it's like, I don't know, man. It depends on how good 16 is gonna have to like kind of carry this year, maybe even Rebirth too, obviously, depending on when that comes out. Another thing that has to be factored into them like taking some L's here is the NFT shit. That's got to be costing them a lot of money to try to get into, and like the community and the fans, from what I've seen across the board, are just not goddamn interested. There's probably people out there that are, obviously, like on the business side of things, but like the community just doesn't give a shit. That's got to, even if it's not the major factor like financially, it's just bad PR. Like people just don't want to support Square Enix because they're doing the NFT stuff. And it's kind of seemed like everything that's on this financial report, it seems like they're kind of gambling on Forspoken, because that's like the only real big release that we've had this year, right? Because everything else was like ports or remasters or remakes of like older games and stuff like that. And it's like those aren't just going to be console sellers, not going to make that much money overall compared to like a brand new major release. So it feels like all their cards, all their chips are on Forspoken, and that's going to be very interesting to see how well this game does the next couple months or whatever. And the other kind of major talking point from this, and it's not something we can super break down, is just them talking about there being multiple new titles planned, and some of them being titles that are brand new IP. So it's something I'm not sure of is they say multiple new titles, and when they say that, I'm wondering if they're saying like unannounced things, because we obviously know of some major games coming out in the future. We know that Kingdom Hearts 4 exists. We got that massive trailer for that. We obviously have Rebirth in 16, of course. We also have like Dragon Quest 12, which got like a teaser, like trailer or title card or something like a long time ago, but we haven't heard shit for 12 in a long time. But besides those, the only ones we know of that are on the horizon are obviously like Octopath Traveler 2 and Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line, which those aren't going to be like major console sellers, I wouldn't think. And then other ones that we don't really know yet, we have the obviously rumored 9 remake, which we're all fairly certain is real, but it's never been officially confirmed by Square Enix, but that's something that could drop sometime this year. And there's also that FF7 25th anniversary message we got from Tetsuya Nomura that talked about there being new FF7 projects, plural, that were started up after Remake was started, right? And the only one that's come to fruition so far was Crisis Core Reunion, because when we got that message from him, we didn't even know that game existed at the time. That's only one thing, right? It's singular. So there's at least one other project, maybe even more, that we're just not aware of currently. They might not even be video game related, because one of the rumors out there for a long time now is an FF7 Remake anime, Netflix anime, something along those lines, that we've yet to ever have anything for. Now, put aside the things that we do know for sure and things that we kind of know exist, it's hard to even speculate what any new games would be, obviously. Like, how can we even theorize that? And on top of that, too, like, brand new IPs. Like, I'm not sure if, like, Square Enix has, like, acquired anybody in the last, year or two or something like that, or if there's any rumors out there for something they might be working on in terms of, like, remakes, remasters, or brand new IPs or something along those lines. Like, it's just one of those things that, unless there is some rumors out there, you can't really speculate on what it is that Square Enix could be working on in the future. So, maybe that FFXIV remaster remake that we were hoping for, maybe they've seen the fan backlash from that, and they're like, let's do that. Let's get that game out there. I guess you could almost like throw the 10-3 conversation there, but I'm assuming that what they're talking about is like the next, fiscal year coming up throughout, 2023 and stuff is the games that they're talking about with this current financial report. So I guess 10-3 technically wouldn't be in that conversation. Though I do think that they, I'm not saying they'd drop anytime soon, but they could kind of push that 10-3 forward a bit. Like if they're, losing money and shit, right? Losing $100+ million goddamn dollars is a big deal. So maybe they're like, let's focus on the shit we know is going to make money. But my dudes, that's going to be pretty much the video. So, of course, Square Enix taking some L's. They got to drop, like, one major game. And again, their whole fiscal year might recover with Forspoken, depending on how this game does. But besides that, what do you think these, like, new titles are that is there rumors out there for any new titles? And, like, brand new IPs, too, coming from Square Enix. Like, is there anything that we have on that at all? Or is it just, we just kind of got to wait for that? That's the video, my dudes. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @YC. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame, we blow that. Like Coltrane, we in here. Like Rogaine or leave it. Like